Welcome back to Whilton Mill International Circuit in Northamptonshire. I hope you've all had a nice but brief lunch. We are back for the afternoon session of racing. Out on circuit, they've already left the dummy grid, is Junior Pro Kart Heat number 3. On pole position will be the 77 of Sophie Pawsey. She lines up alongside Reese Knight, Seb Pereira and Max Shields on row 2, with Conor McCarthy and Thomas Wilkins on row 3. Row 4 will see Christian Oblang alongside Amy Frame, with Harrison Johns and Owen Roberts row 5 and Harry Roddis on row 6. There we are. So a bit of a split this time from all the front runners, not necessarily together quite so much, but they will be there or thereabouts. I think we've got one on row 2, one row 3 and one row 4, rather than all of them being condensed at the front this time round. So we do have a little bit of work to do. Conor McCarthy will be looking to try and make amends for that Heat 2 where he went straight on down at Christmas Corner and all the way up the grass bank. Looks like all 11 runners are into position, so no sooner are we back here on the Alpha Live YouTube channel, we are back racing as well with Junior Pro Kart Heat number 3. The red lights are on, the red lights are out. It's a good start from pole position for Sophie Pawsey. Will she hold off Reese Knight though, because we know P2 is the place to be here at Whilton Mill, and Reese Knight in the 54 leads the way then from Sophie Pawsey. Didn't get the fastest start, but was on the right side of the track to take full advantage. Down the inside comes Max Shields on Seb Pereira. He slides wide enough to stop Conor McCarthy coming through, and Sophie Pawsey alongside Reese Knight, and they're going to be 3 wide down into Ashby's, and Seb Pereira from P3 is going to come through to lead as they head then towards the 2 left-handers of Wilkins and Oziers. Max Shields up to 3rd. Reese Knight's on the inside as Conor McCarthy goes round one side. Christian Oblang dives down the inside. He's going to run slightly wide and over the curves, but here comes Max Shields from 3rd place down the inside of Sophie Pawsey. Those 2 karts liveried up exactly the same. Shields moves up into 3rd. Shields up from 3rd into 2nd. Pawsey then gets a little bit of snap oversteer halfway around that corner, and both McCarthy and Oblang are going to come through. Seb Pereira then with the fastest lap of the race off that first one, and he has gone out into the distance, and here now is his opportunity, because if Shields, McCarthy and Oblang, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, the three drivers that we expect to be at the sharp end of this Junior Pro Kart grid come the business end of the season when the championship gets sorted out, if they start battling now, and if Shields can't break away, Seb Pereira could be handed this one on a plate, and even when they get there, he's not going to be an easy proposition for these 3 to overtake. 0.6 of a second is the gap on the previous lap, and let's see whether Shields has had to defend much in this lap, that it's scrubbed off too much speed. I think the gap's going to be around about 6/10 still, but he has opened up a few kart lengths. He does round that final corner round pit bend. He sets a personal best of a 52.6. When that goes off the screen in a few moments time, we'll see what the gap is. It's going to be around about half a second, give or take. About 4/10 actually. It's nearly a second as Seb Pereira, despite the fact that Max Shields has put in a fastest lap, has started to move away at the head. The gap then 0.9 of a second as the 7 there of Owen Roberts dives down the inside of Reese Knight. Reese Knight's going to try and get back and return the favour. There's the 7 kart running the number 7 as well. So 7 kart being the manufacturer as well as the actual kart running the number 7, moves up into 6th place. Max Shields has moved away ever so slightly from, not from Christian Oblang, but from Oblang, because he's dropped off the back of Conor McCarthy. They've all sort of spread themselves out really, a couple of kart lengths between them all. Gap is down to 9/10 now between the top 3, not just the leader and 2nd place. The time they get round these complex of corners will be about half race distance in terms of time, and then we'll add that 1 lap on at the end, as Harry Roddis has already come into the pit lane, driver of the number 88, who's had a good day so far, making up a number of places. Running that black background down the left side, that highlights the novices in this Junior Pro Kart class. So they'll start towards the back of each race. Owen Roberts already moved up then into 6th place, with Knight, Wilkins, Frame and Johns behind him. And obviously Harry Roddis already in the pit lane. Gap was half a second on the previous lap as Max Shields continues to push. The top 4 split fairly evenly in terms of on-track position. 4/10 between pretty much every position on circuit in this Junior Pro Kart class. And we are now well down beyond the half race distance point. Max Shields closing up under braking at Christmas Corner. And this time on the next lap, he's going to be within striking distance, I think, of potentially putting a move on Sebastian Pereira into that corner. We know he can do it because we've seen him throughout the race day. We saw Conor McCarthy. That was the corner he went in hot in the previous heat and went up onto the grass. Now he's in P3. And Pereira driving very well. Not looking behind him, which is, you know, when the drivers are a little bit younger, they do love an over-the-shoulder look. He is able to afford one as the track goes right, and then right again round the complex of corners down there at the boot. So it doesn't have too much of a look because he's naturally going that way. But here we are with Shields a lot closer this time then. Has half a look down the inside. I thought he was close enough to at least put half a move down the inside of Seb Pereira and then leave it up to Pereira as to whether he wanted to defend it too venomously. But Shields on the back now of Seb Pereira. But if they continue to push in the way they are and not trying to overtake each other too much, they might be able to leave this one down to the last lap and battle it out between first and second, rather than turning this one into a 4-kart battle, as the driver in 8th place, Thomas Wilkins, picks up a contact warning. And Shields there with that much tighter line on entry, and you can see it's closing him up on exit, as Seb Pereira has to actually defend in the middle of the boot complex down towards the final corner, the pit bend, the right-hander at the end with the infamously high curb on the inside and wall on the outside. And this time Max Shields has managed to line this one up. This move started in the boot where he just lined the car up perfectly to maximise the drive round pit bend through Oblivion and Crook, and now through into the lead. And in second place, Pereira is going to come under pressure as well from the 74 of Conor McCarthy. Pereira runs slightly into the back of Max Shields. Hopefully that's not dislodged his front fairing, his nose. That pushes in and drops down if there's too much load applied to it. And we saw that earlier on with when the Hondas were coming off and the cadet class. A few of them were bouncing up and down as they were going over the bollards down the chicken run, as it's called here at Whilton Mill. 52 seconds remaining, and once again we might just get round before that time elapses as Pereira runs slightly wide. He's managed to stick actually with Max Shields here, and Shields has gone defensive down into Christmas Corner. So it's now a 4-kart battle for the lead with 38 seconds plus 1 lap remaining then in this Junior Pro Kart heat number 3. Max Shields, 2 races so far and 2 victories, looking to make it 3 from 3 in this Junior Pro Kart class, but he's having to work hard. Had the pace to catch up with Sebastian Pereira, got through, and now it's a bit of a train. Pereira, though, sticking with Shields. They've opened up a kart length. We know Shields is quick through this boot section. It looks like Pereira actually has learned a thing or two from Max Shields. Copies his line perfectly, although it does take a huge chunk of curb on exit. I wonder if that's going to bounce him backwards into the pack. Shields then, the time has elapsed, but they got over the line before it did. 2 laps then we're going to have in this Junior Pro Kart 3rd heat. And as it stands, it's Shields, Pereira, McCarthy and Christian Oblang, the top 4 that we're focusing on here, all within camera shot of each other, nose to tail, 0.6 of a second between the top 4 here at Whilton Mill. Shields has a look over his shoulder, still sees Seb Pereira behind him. This one may split off into a 2x2 battle here as Pereira challenges Shields for the victory, and then Conor McCarthy tries to hold off Christian Oblang for 3rd place, or can McCarthy break free and attack Sebastian Pereira? Round the boot then for the penultimate time. Last lap board held out by the marshal on the start line. Fastest lap of the race from Max Shields, matched almost exactly with a personal best from Sebastian Pereira as he gets towed round by the 181 machine. And those behind him not close enough to Seb Pereira. Round Christmas Corner they go then for the final time. Inkermans as the right flick as they all bounce over the curbs, heading down the hill towards the heavy braking zone of Ashby's. And McCarthy and Oblang do close up on the back of Seb Pereira. They've got to line this one up. They're not going to get close enough, I don't think, into Ozier's, but it's going to be into the boot. The final time, the final opportunity for Conor McCarthy to snatch 2nd place away from Sebastian Pereira. In they come, bouncing over the curbs on entry. That's the only way you're going to carry any speed through there, is to flatten that inside left. Through they come then round the final time. Shields makes it 3 from 3 in the 181. Seb Pereira, a fantastic second, holding off Conor McCarthy and Christian Oblang.